Hey, you're hanging out in the Link Up Lounge. I'm Tiffany Mason.
And I'm Donna Ruppel. Around here, we believe success isn't just about what you know, it's about who you link up with. This is your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities.
Donna, it blows my mind that the two of us have over 30 years of combined networking experience.
I know. We've built businesses, expanded networks, and created unstoppable momentum, all through the power of strategic connections.
AKA networking. And now we're here to guide you to do the same, starting today.
So let's dive in, connect, and start making moves you didn't even know were possible.
Welcome back to the Link Up Lounge. I'm Tiffany Mason with Virtual You, the boutique podcast management agency, and I'm here with my co-host, Donna Ruppel, your Nakati real estate expert.
This is your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities. And today's reminder is a powerful one. The best visibility doesn't always come from a marketing campaign.
Visibility is through relationships, through real people talking about you in real conversations. And that kind of visibility is long lasting. There's nothing better than someone that will support you and speak your name in rooms that you are not in.
Yes, it is not just about promoting yourself. It's about staying memorable, referable, and being connected to people.
Today, we're sharing how visibility actually grows through people, not just through posts, ads, or email blasts.
Your best promo? Someone saying your name in a room full of opportunities.
Woohoo!
Visibility isn't just reach. I know we live in this world of social media and email campaign marketing and all the things we've all talked about. But visibility isn't just reach. It's about relationships. I know you guys will be shocked considering we've also talked about that, but we feel very strongly about it. When people think about visibility, they often jump straight to social media numbers or paid promotion.
Well, I know somebody was speaking recently to me about marketing yourself, and they're like, no, you have to have all these different components, right? You have to have the marketing, the email marketing. So that's why we've talked about it. You have to have the social media presence. So that's why we've talked about it. But there's also this in person presence and the staying top of mind where someone knows enough about you that they're talking about you when you're not there.
Yes,
So this is just as important as all those other avenues of staying top of mind.
Yeah. And you really stay top of mind through people you have relationships with.
Mm-hmm.
So the real visibility, the kind that sticks, is built when actual people are talking about you when you're not in the room. And that is created through relationships and building that know, like, and trust factor, but real quality relationships. That's the connection we're talking about.
Well, and maybe those connections are made, like we talked about in the previous episode, through some of those bartering things, right? They've experienced your services. And so now they can brag about you freely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not just about promoting yourself, really. It's about being memorable, referable, and connected. So, are you engaging beyond the content you put out?
Well, and I love when you had brought up when somebody says something about social media and like you love traveling. And so you're like, oh, you went to, St. Thomas Island. How was it? What happened there? What's something I should do when I go? I think that's being memorable. Somebody caring about your post beyond liking it.
Yes, yes. And just to hit on being referable, I mean, can somebody easily describe what you do? I mean, we kind of talked about that with the power statements in that episode, like in order to be referred, people need to know what you do. So, they easily know what you do and why you're great at it. Have they experienced your services, maybe through bartering, enough to know why you're great at what you do? If your offer or your brand story is confusing, people don't refer you, even if they like you.
Well, they might be sitting with you at the table and they love catching up with you, but then someone goes, "Oh, what does she do?" And they're like, right?
Yes, for sure. I mean, this episode is a mindset shift for anyone chasing visibility through hustle alone. It's not just who sees you, it's who remembers you, who talks about you, and who sends people your way.
Well, and I don't know how many times I will refer to this, but my quote that I just kind of live life by is Maya Angelou: people may not remember what you said or what you did, but they'll remember the way you made them feel. And so, if you have that approachable attitude or you're doing that active listening, they go, wow, this person's really investing in me. What do they do? They care more when you care, So this kind of visibility that we're talking about comes from trust, right? Did you invest in them and they'll invest back in you? Have you been helpful, clear, and present in your community and your network? Have you, offered to be there when somebody needed you? Have you offered to barter when someone said whatever they were looking for? We always want to make sure that we are clear to our members that it's not about buying from each other. It's about strategically placing one another in front of each other's spheres of influence. And we
Yes.
try to say this all the time in our meeting, like, you guys, it is not about buying from each other. It is not about taking advantage of every service the person offers. I promise you, everybody in our group does not have a podcast. But I do love when they can support me by sharing my podcast, by sharing with me a podcast that doesn't maybe sound great. And they say, hey, Tiffany, would you want to reach out to this host and see if they would like to improve on their sound? Or just other things that I've asked the group to help me out with as far as podcasts come, but it doesn't mean that everybody has a podcast. It just means that they are exposing me to their sphere of influence.
Yeah. So, what makes you referable? You need to ask yourself, do people know who you help? Do they understand what you do? Have you made it easy for them to refer you?
Yeah, and I think we've seen this play out in some of our business spotlights. So in our meetings, every week we have a 10-minute spot where one of our members gets to speak about their business. And that has been really beneficial for these questions exactly. Have you made it easy for me to refer you? Like, do I understand? I think it's kind of like when we buy, a confused mind doesn't buy. I think also a confused mind doesn't refer. And I think
Mhm.
we've spoke before about, having a member where they were in our group for a year or two. And at the end, we were like, well, I still don't really understand what they do. So guess what? I don't refer them any business because I don't really understand. Like, there's about 4 different lanes and I don't understand which lane she fits in. So keep that in mind. Do people know who you help? Do they understand what you do? And have you made it easy? I think that that's something that's been great about the business spotlight coming around multiple times. Each time I challenge myself, what new part of my business can I expose the group to help them to learn what I really do.
Yeah, for sure. And not talk about the same thing you talked about the last time, because it's
Yeah.
your opportunity to expand, do a deeper
Mhm.
dive, find a different segment of your business that maybe they're not aware of.
Yeah. You don't have to be everywhere. You just have to be clear enough that someone can talk about you without hesitation. Donna, I know that you're so good when we go around in our group and you say the type of referral that you're looking for. You hone in on a specific type of client, right? A realtor can sell a house to anybody. A realtor can put any house on the market. But you're really good to say exactly what you're looking for. Like, I'm looking for a couple that is looking to downsize and they want to stay in the area. Right. And so we know, okay, they're going to be looking in Nocatee, but has anybody mentioned that to me recently? Or does somebody have kids graduating high school that they'll be going to college? And that would be somebody who would potentially be looking to downsize. That's really great. That's being very clear. I know exactly what you do and I know who you're looking for. So you've made it very easy for us to refer people to you. Okay. And keeping in mind that because you can serve different segments of the population, to speak to that. So, like a photographer, if you know that everyone is starting to look for senior pictures, that would be a time where a photographer would maybe be speaking to the parents of seniors. When a photographer is at a wedding, then that's when she would be speaking to, oh, yeah, I do all kinds of weddings. I can do elopements. I can do destination weddings, or I can do the ones that are going to be just here in the local area. That message can change based on the type of client that they're looking for at the time.
Well, thank you for your compliment on my
Yes.
clear description of who I'm looking for. But I know, like, if I just showed up every single week in my networking group and said, who do you know that wants to buy or sell a home? Everybody just, dismisses that because, it's not painting a clear enough picture. And to be honest, I got this from a decade ago when I was in a networking group. There was a realtor and I was filling a different category at the time. And he did such a good job of painting that exact precise clear picture of who you were looking for, so much so that it would pop in your mind that person or that couple or that family. And I knew exactly who to say, hey, are you thinking about, downsizing, or are you thinking about moving? Because I have a realtor friend that would be awesome for you, because of that precise description that he supplied. So I sort of stole it from him. Credit goes to him. But I know that the more clear you are in your description of what you're looking for, it is more likely to pop in somebody's mind as somebody they know in their current life.
Yep.
Yeah. So you may wonder how to stay top of mind without constantly promoting yourself. Sometimes Tiffany and I talk about all these things, but the reality is you're going, well, what do you mean? Right. And I know I do that sometimes, like, just give me some examples so I understand what you're meaning. So here are a few ways to stay top of mind without being in promo mode 24/7. Okay. So I'm going to give you 9 examples. Get ready. Okay. Check in with
Get your
intention.
pen and paper out, people. Stop your
Ready?
car, pull over, voice memo if you have to.
Right. Okay. We're going to check in with intention. So don't just say, hey, how are you? Send a message that shows you remember something about them. Like, hey, I just heard a podcast on a topic and I thought of you. How's your project going? Number 2, send value. Share a resource, podcast, or tool that might help someone's current challenge. Like, this article reminded me of what you said about building your team. I thought it might be useful.
Or after hearing this podcast, when we have all the freebies, you probably want to send those to all your friends. So make sure you're sharing. If you wanted to collaborate with somebody, our previous episode would be the perfect episode to share to them, where you could send value.
Yes. Always. I really think that if you want to send value, the Link Up Lounge podcast is never a bad idea. Okay. Number 3.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Number 3, celebrate out loud. So publicly comment or reshare someone's win, product launch, or even a testimonial. It signals that you're supporting others. It keeps you visible in their circle. It's a very strategic thing. I love that one. So
I wonder, do you think that it would be beneficial to screenshot a review that you've left for your friend's business and then post that?
Yeah.
I love that idea.
I do,
I kind of want
because
to do that.
if you're raving, like doing a raving review about somebody, which hopefully those are the only reviews you're doing about somebody in your networking group, right? A raving review, and you posted it on your social media, people are instantly going to go, oh, Tiffany likes so-and-so's business. I should check them out. And I do
that's
think
a freebie for you guys. That's a
right?
that was an
That's
extra
a good
freebie.
One. Yeah. Okay. Number 4, ask, don't just tell. So ask for feedback or thoughts on something you're working on. It builds trust. It makes others feel valued. That's a big one. Ask people for feedback on something you're doing or something you're offering.
Yeah, I liked in our group, somebody had a flyer that they were going to be sending around, and they asked the group. And I remember thinking like, oh, well, I am not qualified to give feedback, but I can give you my opinion. And it did make me feel valued. And then I was like, oh, that was a great graphic. And then I learned all the information about the thing that she was promoting, and she didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, for sure. I do like getting feedback on promotional things or ideas of things I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy getting the feedback, but it's also, like you said, another way to have somebody take notice of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So number 5 is make genuine introductions. Connect 2 people who should know each other, even if it doesn't benefit you directly, because that gesture gets remembered. And literally before we hit record, you were telling me how you walked one of our networking group members over to a business that you knew the 2 of them should connect, and you had tried to connect them virtually before, but you didn't feel like that really hit home. So you walked her over there. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, like a genuine connection, face-to-face introduction. Ooh, it's like the holy grail.
I cannot tell you, like, I've heard this term of a connector. I remember meeting this lady, I don't know, like 8 years ago when we moved here to Florida, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm a connector. I don't know what makes me happier than connecting 2 people, and I get nothing out of it. Like nothing out of it, but it makes me so happy to be like, see, I support you. See, like I just love supporting people, and I do it all the time. And, we go around our group and say the referrals, that the business we've passed for each other. And I can't say I'm always the best at the social media promotion. I do a decent amount, but I'll say my strong suit is like these really solid connections. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've done a group text. Well, I guess it's called a group text. I was going to say between 3 people, but that's still group text,
Sure.
where I'm connecting people and saying like, "Hey, you two should meet," or doing a group email like, "Hey, you two could definitely benefit each other." That that is like seriously the most fulfilling way that I like to network.
Yes, I do also enjoy connecting people.
Mhm.
Probably why we started Bond and Beyond and then ultimately the Link Up Lounge. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think that connecting to people and knowing that they are going to then have some symbiotic relationship is like so rewarding. So I love that.
I think so too. And just knowing like I love the idea of potential. Like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, what could happen from this? Like, we could see this person that we know, we could see their business really boom from this idea or from this connection. Like, I just love it.
Absolutely. Yes. Big fan myself. Okay, number 6, start conversation around their content. Don't just like a post. We've talked about this in our social media episode here, but comment something meaningful or ask a follow up question. It keeps the interaction going and it keeps, the algorithm keeping the posts live and visible and all those things. So
Yep.
start conversations around their content. Number 7, be present in groups or direct messages. Share your perspective in masterminds, Slack groups, or comment sections. Not to pitch, remember, because we're not selling everything. We're just participating. Okay. Being present, showing up. Number 8, send, quote, saw this and thought of you, end quote, type of messages. A simple screenshot, a quote, even a meme that connects to a past conversation. It shows thoughtfulness. It shows that you heard what they said. It shows that they're top of mind for you and it keeps the relationship warm.
It really is flattering when somebody remembers something and they're like, "Oh, I saw this and thought of you." And for a second, you'll be like, uh, yeah." Like
Yeah.
that really is a really heartwarming moment. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
usually say heartwarming, but I do feel like that's a heartwarming moment when something in somebody's day, they thought of you.
Yeah, for sure. One of our members, as silly as it is, we had a guest at one of our networking groups a long time ago, and she was doing a photo shoot with the Highland fuzzy cows. I call them fuzzy cows, but the Highland cows, love them. I think they're so cute.
I
Okay.
don't know what Highland cows are.
They're little and they're super hairy. Oh my God. What do you mean you don't know what Highland cows are?
Okay, I hope that I'm not the only one, listeners.
How are we friends? And you don't know my obsession with Highland cows. Okay, now you're going to get the Highland cow reels sent to you on the
Oh,
regular.
yes. Okay, I do know these cows. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
because there's a whole farm out in like Texas where you can go stay with the Highland cows. Anyway, okay, so clearly I have a problem. But okay, I think they're adorable. I've often said to my husband that I want a Highland cow because they can come in and out of your house.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they're approved by the HOA here in Nagati, however, but one day I might have a Highland cow myself. But anyway, somebody came to our group and they were doing a photo shoot with Highland cows. And I got so excited. A photo shoot with Highland cows for the holiday. I was thinking about my Christmas cards, right?
Oh,
So
man.
excited about this.
Dream come
My,
true.
right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Okay. So we had that meeting before the holidays of last year. Okay. And then, probably a few months later, one of our group members sent me some cute reel about Highland cows. And I was like, oh, cute, funny. Oh, she thought of me when she saw this. Okay, I like that. Okay. But then my birthday in June, she
Yeah.
gave me the cutest little Highland cow thing. And honestly, I'm like, I mean, it's not one of those facts that I share.
Right. Apparently not.
I know. How do you know this? Okay, it tells me how little I share it. Okay. But she obviously remembered it. And it does. It's like one of those things that it makes you go, oh, they thought of me. And I
Mhm.
find that so heartwarming as little things come up, and I think in our day and age, I said a screenshot, a quote, or a meme, but really in our day, it's probably more likely TikToks or reels. And,
Yeah.
that's the joke. Everybody's sharing all of these, but it definitely keeps relationships warm and it lets you know that somebody's thinking about you.
Yes, and do you remember the time that you sent me and this other girl in our group something about, uh, cougar puberty, I think,
Oh, yeah.
speaking about perimenopause, and it's something
Yes.
that the 3 of us talk about somewhat often, and we're all about the same age, and so experiencing it together, and, it's things like that, how you're saying it just strengthens the relationship when you can have a little laugh. This is kind of a side note, but my son is always calling my husband and asking for money. He was saying how my husband was not getting back to him, and I said, "Well, do you ever call your dad just to call your dad?
Mm,
Like, do you ever, is there ever anything besides, 'Hey, dad, I need money. Hey, dad, I need money?'" I
right.
said, "Why don't you invest in your dad a little bit so he's more inclined to answer the phone than
Right.
just, 'I need money, I need money.'" And it's the same thing, right? We want people to invest in us, not just, "Hey, let's collaborate. Hey, let's collaborate. Hey, let's do this networking thing. Hey, hey, hey." It's nice to just, think it goes with our value punch too, right? Our
Right.
value sell
Yeah.
that, put a little value into the relationship. It's not all business.
Right?
Yeah.
I know it's funny because talking about kids asking for money, I have
Yes.
2 opposite ends of the spectrum. I have one of my kids that's like your son, and it's always a, "Hey, when are you sending me money?" And typically my response is, "When are you calling me?" Um,
Yes.
but my other kid likes to talk about things and never ask for money. And I figured out a couple years ago that he is bringing this up to me because he wants me to offer to give him money for it. So, for instance, I have to
Ah.
drive really far for this one thing, and my gas tank is kind of low right now. That kind of sucks. And he wants me to
Oh.
say, "Would you like me to give you some money for gas?" Okay, and that I figured out is how he's asking for money. And the funny thing is, I'm more likely to volunteer to give him money
Well,
because
that's
he's
what I
talking to
tell my
me.
son. I'm like, "You never give us an opportunity to just, be generous out of the kindness of our hearts. You're always reaching out and asking for the money. So we can't ever even offer it because 'cause you're
Right.
always asking."
Yeah.
I would prefer him to beat around the bush and me be like, "Oh, would you like a tank of gas? Mommy will do that for you."
Right?
Right?
I know. It is
Like,
funny. Yeah.
but you ask me and I'm like, "Oh, I'm just an ATM to you?" Okay, so we digress, we digress. Okay. Number 9.
I know. Okay. Number 9, offer to help with no strings attached.
Oh, well, isn't that what we were just talking about?
Right? If someone posts a question or seems stuck, maybe lend insight if it's your zone of genius, but no pitch needed. So, we see that all the time in like social media, Facebook groups where somebody's asking a question and you can see some of the people answer with, "I can help you with that. And here's my website." Right. And then you can see some people who just give their opinion and that's not their zone, right? And then you can see some people who give their opinion, it is their zone, and they're not putting their link on there. And those, I'm like, yeah, you go, girl, because that is showing that you're willing to be helpful and not consistently pitch. Now, I'm not
Yep.
saying it's never okay to put your link on something, but what I am saying is sometimes if somebody asks a question in your zone, like for instance, there's a million posts about real estate and people asking questions. And then I usually love to scroll through the comments. And sometimes all you'll
Yes.
see are, realtors who are putting their link. "I'd love to help." And here's their link. But the question was really about how to navigate something in real estate. And they're not even answering it, which you could
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
So that is one thing where I'm like, sometimes people notice those who provide value without asking for the sale. And it
Well, I
could be
remember that being
something.
one of the growth strategies was just go on a whole bunch of Facebook, well, not a whole bunch, but choose, like 4 Facebook groups or 3 Facebook groups and just constantly offer advice. People will start to see like, A, this person is an expert, and B, this person is not self-serving.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Sometimes it's nice to just comment, offer to help with no pitch. Yep.
Yep. I agree with that very much so.
Okay, so I just gave you 9 examples of how to stay top of mind without constantly promoting yourself.
So I've been thinking a little bit about, what I mentioned before about these testimonials and how I had that little popcorn idea where I was like, "Oh, I could repost them." But also, those testimonials show social proof. So it shows that you support another person's business. It shows that you use the service or the product and you had good results.
Hmm.
And then when you post it on your own social media, you're using your social network to expose their business or vice versa. So when you take that review and you post it, you're exposing your whole network to what you think about that product or that service. And somebody may be more inclined to use it because they know me, they like me, and they trust me. So it just gives it that much more credibility because it's coming from somebody that they know. Okay, so me using the example of sharing the testimonial is that you should share wins or offers. And when you do that, tie it back to the value. So if the win was I got my house cleaned and I didn't have to do anything, then that's your personal win. But then you show your testimony that says, I use this service. They did a great job. I didn't have to lift a finger. And now my house is sparkling clean and I'm ready for the weekend or whatever it is, right? You shared your win. You exposed that business to your sphere of influence and you gave social proof that you tried the service, you liked it. And those people will have a lot more weight going into it, or they will take it more seriously because it's from you, someone that they already interact with and they already know.
So visibility happens through people, not just through promoting yourself on social media or your website, right? Because the more people that think of you, that talk about you, that refer you, that is super powerful, right? And so somebody's recommendation of their friend, it creates way more value than somebody's recommendation of a service they've never used. They've just heard about it. Like in my world, everybody knows, 12 realtors. So the question of, hey, do you know a realtor you could refer to me? Of course you do. Everybody knows 12, right? But then the follow-up question usually is it somebody you've used or you're familiar with their
Yeah.
services? And so if it is somebody that you've used or you're familiar with their services, then the referral gets way more weight because it's more personal.
Right. Well, and I think it's like we've said in the past, it's quality over quantity. We don't need everybody we know to be shouting our name, which would be amazing. But we just need, a couple of people that, like we've said, are speaking your name in a room that you're not in, that can speak to the services and the products that you provide and the value.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think that is one of the most important perks of a networking group. Just,
Amen.
how you have this group of people who are going to speak your name when you're not in the room. And that is why you pour the time, energy, and effort into networking, into showing up, into growing those relationships, into all the things that sometimes, as an entrepreneur, you can spend your time doing 1,000 other things. And sometimes people do not value or put as high of a priority on networking. But this is exactly why you should, because you don't always see the results every single week in your networking group of a referral being passed or given. But what you do have is all those conversations that happen in rooms you're not in, where your name gets brought up because you're top of mind because of that relationship that you've made through networking.
Well, and there's just nothing more powerful than word of mouth. That's just the strongest referral you can have.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so it is time for networking mode on. This week, instead of simply posting something new, take time to message 3 people in your network and say, I really appreciate how you show up. What's something you're focused on right now? Maybe there's a way I can help move it forward. Start visibility with generosity, and you'll be top of mind when it matters. Networking mode on.
All right, networking mode is officially on. Follow us on social media on the gram at _linkup lounge. And when you think someone who's helped boost your visibility, tag us so we can celebrate the moment with you. Because visibility grows through people, and we're here for it.
You've been hanging out in the Link Up Lounge, your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities.
Now it's your turn. Go make a powerful link today.
Networking mode on.